Hello creators, my name is Jamie Salazar and I help people like you navigate your spiritual awakening by remembering who you are. If you're watching my content, I'm sure you're already well aware of the quote, "What you think about, you bring about," meaning you create your own reality. But how? In this video, we're going to talk about manifestation by way of switching timelines or jumping into quantum vibrational fields. Sounds so sophisticated, but it doesn't have to be intimidating. I'm going to break it down for you in the way that I understand it and the way that I use it. I have a little bit of a different viewpoint because of my talks with the other side, so here we go. For those of you that are skeptical or you're more analytical, it may help to know that there's actual research in the subjects that we're going to talk about today. Looking into an MIT study called the double slit experiment is a simple way of explaining that light waves and particles are interchangeable and are in fact determined by the consciousness of a person watching, or the expectancy of the outcome. Even Stephen Hawking talked about the existence of multiple parallel universes within each of our lives. This means that depending on expectation, there are multiple outcomes that already exist, and theoretically, all we need to do is select the correct frequency in order to jump to the most favorable possibility. This is why I've told you that some psychics can be wrong in their predictions. The person getting the reading can then switch to a different timeline because of preference, which is also why it's important for you to take your power back and learn to see your own future. This would, in turn, allow you to be in the driver's seat and steer yourself into the most desired outcome instead of allowing someone else to implant it for you. In times like these, people are freaking out about what's happening, and I'm over here with a smile on my face. You've got the power to change your timeline and your favorite outcome by changing your frequency to a higher perspective. Now, I want to make sure that you understand what this double slit experiment means exactly. Time and space are a state of our consciousness. We are the only ones that are conscious of our experience. Therefore, we create, or more correctly said, we choose the timeline that already exists and move into it. It's much easier than thought before because all timelines already exist. You're not having to create anything. It's already there. You just have to choose the most optimal timeline and know by your emotion. Remember, emotion is energy in motion. This changes your frequency and automatically moves you into that place. We just didn't understand that part before. Not believing in something will create an emotion that isn't in favor of what you want, so you can't fake it until you make it on the emotional part of it. But you can fake it until you make it in your mind using your imagination that already exists. Let me give you an example. Let's say that you want to get this new car that you've been dreaming of, but you're in this old rundown POS. Every time you get into your car, you need to imagine that you're driving in the one that you've been dreaming of. You can literally do this with anything, but make it believable to you to start with. Remember that a sequence of events has to play out first because we don't want to manifest things automatically, or we would be in a world of trouble. You're telling the universe, or really your higher self, that you're happy in the present because your emotions are the words that you're really being spoken here. Now, words only hold power because they trigger your emotions, not because of what they actually mean. This is how other entities have stolen your manifestation for centuries. They've played on your emotions by way of media, movies, all of that jazz, to trigger your emotions. That's why movies, songs, and media, and even sometimes religion, or to put it in short, the matrix that you've been plugged into, have used your emotions to keep us stuck in lower timelines. We're now entering a new era where we're awakening to all of this, and now we're able to carry our own energy back up to the higher realms and move into a different world. This is what I've been talking about with ancient knowledge that's been talking about the earth split. It's to remind you of who you are. You can learn to manifest by taking the power of your creation back. Then you learn that you're not this weak little soldier that's been dealt a bad hand. Literally everything that you've learned up to this point was yourself, your higher self, teaching you the lower realms in order to know the higher ones, the yin and the yang. To give you a visual, rather than thinking of time as one big line from point A to point B, imagine timeline as sheets of paper stacked on top of each other. These are the probable outcomes in different timelines. They're timelines being played out for each decision that you've been given from birth, so that means that you have always been in control of what you choose. The one that you have chosen will automatically create a wormhole, which has also been explained in quantum science. That bends point A to point B together and folds it in on itself and creates a quantum jump into the timeline that you prefer. There are actually multiple timelines you're playing out in different states of consciousness in the opposite choices or outcomes that you have already made right now. They're all playing out simultaneously because there's no such thing as past and future. That's why we say live in the present. There's only now. This is the experience that you have chosen, and in order to get the most out of it, you must become aware of yourself. Remember when I told you that you are God? This shows you that you are the creator because you're choosing your reality at every given moment. Raising your vibration by your emotions is how we remember how to move to the most optimal timeline. The lower frequencies are where all of the negativity and fear lives. If you want to jump out of the lower frequencies, you need to move your consciousness into the higher realms by your emotion. This creates a quantum wormhole. Going into the flow of something is also important. Just because you think negatively for a bit doesn't mean that you'll automatically shoot down to the lowest frequency. Actually, we created this consciousness system in order to really learn each layer of ourselves. Eventually, all timelines collapse in on each other anyway. This is how I can say that there's no such thing as hell that we've created in our minds. If you want to experience that, then of course you can create it, but what this doesn't mean is that you'll be stuck there forever or for all eternity. Because there are multiple versions of you, there's also a version that is completely whole and that is enlightened already. We actually call this our higher selves. We connect with that higher self or the source by meditation or by going within. This is its own wormhole into a consciousness of itself. This state is also where you need to be to find all of the answers to any question that you've ever had. You don't need anyone or anything to go into it for you, and if they do, such as getting a mediumship reading or a psychic reading, you can also change the outcome by way of what we just talked about. We can also go into the subway water experiment, which shows water droplets from the same source under a microscope after putting intent into each water droplet and seeing what it had created. If the water droplet was told positive affirmations, it created a beautiful snowflake shape and it was shown clear and clean. The droplets that were told negative affirmations were almost non-uniform and all mucky. Knowing this, we also understand that we are made of mostly water. How does this change our physical bodies? Science has also shown us studies on cymatics, or frequency patterns. Lower frequencies of sound are non-uniform patterns, but then when it's raised up, it will show a mandala-like pattern that become more intricate as the frequency rises. One of the most simple ways of raising frequency is meditation or going within. Know thyself. You can literally change your timeline by emotions and imagination. Just think of all the possibilities. Books and research on this subject are in the description box down below for you so that you can do your own thinking. If you match or resonate with this message, don't forget to like, share, and hit subscribe. Hit the bell so that you can be notified on each video that I put out so you can literally navigate your awakening and take it to the next level. Welcome to your ascension, creators. I'll see you in the next video.